Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another FuseMeets session. I hope you're all doing really well out there in the cryptoverse. You're here with me, Ian Kane, and in this session, I'm going to be chatting with some of the team at GoodDollar. So I've got Jessica Salama here with me to talk about GoodDollar today. How you doing, Jess? You good?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for
I'm all right. I've had a very busy week of had an annual conference. I just got back from Barcelona this week, so I've been traveling and I'm a little bit tired. My voice is a bit gravelly today, but how are you? How's your week going? How are things?
My week is great. I was actually just in Barcelona this summer for the ETH Barcelona event, which is where I got to meet some of my team members for the first time. And I was like, wow, you have legs.
Yeah, same for us. That's what we were doing. We were meeting kind of for the first time. The biggest thing that everybody said every time they met the person for the first time was, oh, you're much taller than I thought you would be, or oh, you're much shorter than I thought you would be. This was the topic of the week, right? So cool. Yeah. Interesting. So Jess, we're here to talk about GoodDollar today. So would you do me a favor and the audience today, give us the kind of really top line view. What is GoodDollar? Tell us.
So top line, GoodDollar is basically the easiest way for anybody with a cell phone to access crypto for free, without investing, no risks. It's in your phone or your internet web browser. It's GoodDollar crypto universal basic income. So that's also like a lot of jargon that I'm happy to explain, but short version is free crypto for all.
Free crypto for all. Sounds pretty cool, right? We'll break that out, and the universal basic income term is one that may not be known by everybody, but we'll dive into that as well. But yeah, GoodDollar. So GoodDollar is on Fuse Network, and it's become a bit of a darling of Fuse Network, responsible for a lot of the unique active wallets and transactions we saw in 2022. And it shows that the Fuse Network is fully capable of hosting dApps like GoodDollar, and have so far generated thousands and thousands of transactions and distributed nearly to nearly 500,000 wallets on Fuse Network distribution so far. And also, like right now, and Jess will jump into this a bit as well, but like there's quite a lot of compelling cultural, economic reasons why such a platform as GoodDollar is finding its place right now. Like just for example, adults with less than 10,000 in savings form nearly 60% of the world's population. It's really crazy out there, right? So there's many compelling reasons we should jump into this. And like innovations in decentralized finance are making it more possible to generate interest on stable assets. So it's become a different ball game, really. So it's created a kind of perfect storm, you could say, for GoodDollar, whereby the will and the means to deliver universal basic income is there for the first time. So with all that in mind, it's time to jump in and talk to our guest today. So thanks for joining us, Jess. But I want to start at the beginning. GoodDollar is a very cool project. It has a very a different ethos about it and a kind of different style. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get into this blockchain crypto space, and why is GoodDollar something that you think is a good project and something we need in the world?
Yeah, so you mentioned the perfect storm for GoodDollar, and that's exactly the time that I joined the project. It was March 2020, right at the start of the global pandemic. Airports were just shutting down, borders closing, death rates rising, and it was this moment of chaos in the world. And I was also looking for a job. So I also had this, panic of what's happening in the world right now. And I had a hard time finding a job, actually, because of my background. I come from the traditional impact philanthropy world. And I spent many years working for an amazing organization that sold condoms around the world. Condoms, family planning, birth control, all of that. And so that was my experience was, building local programs, working with government donors to get these type of projects funded, but doing it through like a really interesting sustainable enterprise model where it's creating ecosystems of value, but this was pre-crypto. Crypto was around, and it was like 2014, but not something that we were prepared to think about or address. But I became pretty disillusioned with the system, working in traditional philanthropy, and seeing the hard numbers on a budget, and then seeing the reality of where that impact is delivered and who we are, quote unquote, serving. And that's not to, it was an incredible organization. It's nothing about the organization itself. It's about the industry as a whole. And there's a broken money problem. So that was where I decided impact is not for me. I want to make an impact for myself and go work in tech. And then, one day I can, do the social impact work that I'm just always been passionate about my whole life. And lucky enough, I got connected with GoodDollar, which is blockchain technology, social impact, at the craziest time in the world's, the history of our century so far, the COVID-19 pandemic, which laid the runway for this crypto universal basic income.
Pretty much, right? Like we were seeing a very primitive way it was being rolled out in other countries through traditional finance, like furlough packages and things like this were being distributed. It really was a bit of a perfect storm. And Jess, you seem to have landed right in the right place in that storm at the right time. So very cool. And also, I really agree with what you're saying, that kind of disillusionment of the sort of charitable status of different companies and how to humanity helping. And you see it in a different light when you start to jump into it. For example, you see humanitarian aid generally is in countries where the cameras are. And that many charities, a lot of the money that they gather up is spent on marketing activities to actually fund further charity. It's quite a strange world when you start to dig around in there, right? So yeah, I completely understand what you're saying there. All right, awesome, Jess. Thank you so much for that. That's really great. I really like to always understand who it is I'm talking to, their kind of background, what they're all about. I think it's very important. It's we need to know who the people are that work at the company. But in that side as well, I've got a video here that I want to drop in just to give people a kind of visual representation of what GoodDollar is all about. So let's sit back for a second and watch this. Pretty cool. I think some of the numbers are out of date, right, Jess? Do you want to update people in the community there?
Yeah, wow, what a throwback is this video. It's so today GoodDollar has reached almost 500,000 people, 430,000 members worldwide. And instead of using stock images, we actually have real photos of GoodDollar being used around the world. So yeah, it's time for a new video, but it's a good, quick summary of what people have been doing with GoodDollar. But I think before I share that, I should probably say, what is GoodDollar?
Yeah, I think the main thing here, like you've introduced yourself, we've got a visual representation. Now, what is GoodDollar? What does GoodDollar do? What problems is it trying to solve, Jess? Tell us, please.
So GoodDollar is a nonprofit protocol that enables every person with a cell phone to be able to experience, learn, and use digital currency. So the fact is, global wealth equality is on the rise. The gap in Web3 and crypto is far greater than it is in even the traditional Web2, and that's a problem. So GoodDollar set out to address, actually to tackle two things. One, how do you make digital financial assets, more accessible to people, especially the 1.8 billion unbanked around the world? I hate that word, unbanked, but that's another topic. And two, how do you pay for this? Like global universal basic income is a not just political theory, but actually like a well-researched model that's been around for centuries. And now we have the technology that can actually distribute it.
All right, Jess. So you mentioned the founder there as well, and the founder of GoodDollar is quite a well-known person, as far as I know. Tell us a little bit more about the founder and kind of what he brings to the table, and what the other project is that that he's working on as well. That would be great.
Yeah, so GoodDollar was founded by eToro, the financial investing social copy trading platform. That was founded early 2000s by Yoni Asya. And in 2008, he wrote a paper called The Visible Hand, which laid out this framework for blockchain technology and wealth redistribution, which was way ahead of its time. So flash forward to 2018, he on behalf of eToro, committed to building this foundation and this team of developers, economists, community builders, strategists, so this incredible team of people to actually start building the protocol. And the GoodDollar protocol itself was launched in 2020, September 2020.
Yeah.
So it's been like a long journey to get to this point. But we're super excited that we have the chance to work with such a visionary. He is, he's been through not just this bear market, but many, many before. He has a really deep understanding of financial markets and crypto and blockchain technology. So having him on our side and our community, has been really beneficial for the project because you're seeing it both at a micro level and a macro level, like the progress of this UBI community. So it's been pretty exciting.
I mean, maybe we should just go back slightly here because we're talking UBI. So we use the term UBI, Universal Basic Income. Now I'm aware, I've been really into this concept for quite a long time. Wrote an article about it like 6 years ago about how blockchain could potentially bring UBI to the world. So it seemed quite logical back then. But Jessica, tell people what UBI kind of is, please. What's the idea of UBI? Why is it a thing? Please, yeah, let's educate people that don't know about that.
Okay. So UBI, Universal Basic Income, is a unconditional, guaranteed payment to any person, to any human. It's basically like a minimum income so that people can have their basic needs met.
Yes.
And it's been applied in many different ways. There's different ways of distributing UBI, but the core principle of it is that for being a human, you deserve access to finance, and enough finance to give you like the basic needs you need to not just live, but also like thrive in life.
Yeah. And it's been rolled out in certain countries that are actually pioneering this kind of stuff through governmental figures. And for people who live in United Kingdom, perhaps you could think of this as like we have a system in the United Kingdom where people are allowed to sign up and receive a portion of money because they need that money in order to sustain themselves. So it's already kind of been happening, as you said, for a long, long time. But now we're putting a new technological slant on it to try and deliver it in a different way, right? So the way that GoodDollar works, it kind of, to me, seems it works on two sides. It's got a two-sided thing. You've got claimers and you've got supporters. So you've got people that come and claim GS, the GoodDollar token, and people that support this GoodDollar cause. So should we start with supporters, Jess? And can you tell people how this kind of system, how does the GoodDollar system work regarding these two parts?
Yeah, so I actually want to start with claimers.
Okay, all right, cool.
Basically, claimers are you, me, anyone in the world with a phone that opened a GoodDollar wallet and are claiming free GoodDollars every day. And then through several different marketplaces and platforms and community channels, people are using GoodDollar around the world for peer-to-peer commerce. So it's a way to onboard people into crypto, give them free crypto to start using amongst their friends, their families. But then GoodDollar is also, it's a reserve-backed currency. I'll get into a little bit of the model, but just to say that you can also stake your good dollars. So with the good dollars that you're claiming every day, there's now an added like the next step in the crypto journey is not just claiming crypto, but learning how to use it. And this is what GoodDollar has really built itself around, is building a community of people teaching each other, supporting each other for claiming good dollars, but also understanding, what is crypto? How do I stake? What is DeFi? What is an NFT? All these other things, because our main focus is really creating greater access to financial education and financial assets.
Okay, that's a pretty nice way to do it, actually. I kind of like that. Like by distributing a free UBI, you're able to then connect with people who otherwise may not be so much into crypto, but and then hold their hand through the journey and allow them to kind of be onboarded in that way. That's really cool. So
GoodDollar was my first crypto. Yeah.
All right, cool. And just to be clear as well, like for people listening, we're talking about GS dollars here. The value of a GS dollar, you can't pick up $1 million a week off GoodDollar. I just want to put that out there right now. That's not what we're talking about here, right?
No, the amount that you're claiming every day is very small. I think if you claim every day for 2 months, you get every day for 1 month, you get a dollar, I think is what it comes out to, which is, I mean, depending where you are in the world, something or not that much. But what we've seen, and this is through the dashboard, the public dashboard that we have, the token is increasing in its value, not just based on price, but based on the utility around it. So on the claimer side, we've seen, nearly 500,000 people claim free crypto and start transacting it and all of that. About your question for stakers, this is where it gets interesting.
How does that work with the kind of, so where is this money coming from? Where is the value generated from? How is GS able to exist? Like, tell us about for the supporters side of it.
So GoodDollar is a reserve-backed token. The entire protocol is based on a reserve system. So the value in the GoodDollar reserve comes from the interest that is generated from supporters who stake cryptocurrency into the permissionless protocols that we've built. So these protocols we built on Fuse. This protocol wraps around Compound and Aave to generate interest from the DAI or that's staked in the reserve. And through the accumulated reserve interest, GoodDollar coins are minted, and that funds the UBI pool that gets distributed to claimers.
Okay. So it involves, so you've got this kind of philanthropical thinking of people that want to have maybe high net worth individuals who want to earn something on their revenue, but also want to give back as well. So they can place, for example, £1 million into this reserve and earn something for that themselves. That's right. They also are earning, but a portion is put back in. So it relies on this. It's heavily reliant on the supporter side, right? To keep growing as a platform, it's going to be reliant on the supporter side, right?
So currently, we have one main corporate sponsor that is staking. That's eToro. They staked $1 million in the reserve contract. But there are many more people, tens of thousands, that have become holders of GoodDollar, which are also supporters of the ecosystem. Sure. So to incentivize supporters, we need to make it easier for people to support the protocol. More fiat on and off ramps, more education, more staking integrations, all of which is in our future. But we've still focused fundamentally on driving engagement, utility, and building the claimer community.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of the onboarding of the masses to try and get people educated and into the system first, right? That seems a logical way to do things.
Exactly.
We were touching on the kind of data side there a little bit as well, and I'm kind of curious as kind of who's claiming and that kind of side of things. So I've got the dashboard here, and I'll bring it up here, Jess, so we can see this. So yeah, this is the. Do you want to talk us through this a little bit?
Yeah. So this is our public dashboard, dashboard.gooddollar.org. And you can see real-time data of the ecosystem. So we've distributed, this is the amount of good dollars we've distributed. There's the number of claimers. You can toggle through the top if you want to, token impact. But I think the most interesting part of this dashboard is actually the map.
Yeah.
Blue map. So GoodDollar has been claimed in 222 countries and territories around the world. So we've almost got the entire map covered. But it's interesting to think about the geographies of where the most claims are coming from. And it makes sense, given the state of the markets today. When we first launched, our biggest community was Argentina, which in 2020, like the inflation was soaring, and it was almost like a perfect parallel to what was happening in the world. And we still see that, like GoodDollar is a sort of UBI means testing, not means testing, sorry, sort of claims testing. So now the largest communities are in Nigeria, Vietnam, Brazil, and India, which, given the data around crypto adoption in those countries specifically, makes a lot of sense. Philippines used to be on this list, but not anymore. But
do you see peaks and troughs in claims around? One thing that kind of occurred to me given the current situation in the Ukraine, for example, I was thinking, will we see a spike in claims from countries where it's become, where they have a conflict or difficulty, so this becomes more applicable? I don't know. Do you see that, Jess, on your side, or not so much?
We've definitely seen, like the Ukraine example is, we didn't see too many spikes in Ukraine itself, but around that time we saw spikes in general. And I think that it's hard for us to pinpoint, certain events to geographies and points in time. But when there are big events in the world that, create this feeling of doom and loom, claims go up.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So to get the value of GS, I mean, that's what we were saying, you get like $1. So you're claiming small amounts, but it's not about that. It's about getting crypto into people's pockets, getting it into their hands. I think that's really important as well. But in the long term, getting the value of GS up, and for it to become more meaningful for claimers, the platform will have to attract more investment and supporters, right? So what kind of plan, and we'll have to add some utility to GS as well. So can you tell us a bit about the plans that you've got to kind of attract more supporters? And I'm also hearing some rumors around a marketplace, which will give GS a bit more utility. So yeah, do you want to talk to us about this a little bit, Jess?
Yeah, so to give more value to GoodDollar, obviously we need more people, investors, players, crypto whales, staking in the reserve. That's number one. And it has been a challenge at some points, because I think social impact in Web3 is kind of like the black sheep of, the products in the market, because we are completely 100% nonprofit. We're not selling anything. We're just trying to make money work better. So yes, we have a lot of plans for attracting more stakers. First of all, just making it much easier to stake. So just the user experience of staking itself, which is it's not a problem unique to GoodDollar. I think there's a lot of people that are pretty scared to stake on Compound, and don't read all the contracts before. So one thing is the staking experience and the ways that you can support. So we just launched on Giveth. We have a page on Giveth, which is a way that you can support the GoodDollar project through their protocol and ecosystem. We're now a member of the Doing Good community, which is a social impact NFT marketplace. So you can, support GoodDollar or just impact in general through these ecosystems. And we've also, we're setting up all the payment integrations, both Web 2 and Web 3. So Juicebox is the protocol behind Constitution that built Constitution DAO. They make staking super easy. And we're just exploring all these different ways of alternative staking integrations, or just alternative financing integrations, aka staking, because GoodDollar can, it's a permissionless protocol. We can wrap around any yield-bearing protocol to create more UBI for people. So the opportunities are really endless. It's about, bringing I think at this point, we just want to keep on our mission of this is no longer just like a test case. These are actual real use cases. I think in general, in the Web3 ecosystem, we're past the days of just speculation. NFTs kind of wipe that out. And the truth is that we have so many use cases of people using crypto for good. And the community itself is a perfect example of that, because since we've launched, have been creating marketplaces to, trade things for GoodDollars, whether it's digital services or products or local goods and products. And that utility is actually what drives the value of GoodDollar as well, because the more people that are transacting in it, the more value is given to the token. And the more trust is built in the ecosystem. So what we've seen is a lot of cases of people selling mobile minutes in Nigeria and Ghana for GoodDollars. People are opening up small stores and like micro entrepreneurial endeavors to try to onboard more local businesses to GoodDollar. And then the marketplace has been always like a community-driven marketplace. So we have a Facebook marketplace, we have a Share Tribe marketplace, we have just WhatsApp marketplaces and Telegram marketplaces, because the idea is that we're really on this journey of decentralization. So let claimers be their own markets, right? Like just give communities the access to the underlying currency that can power all these peer-to-peer transactions for free without any risk. So there's a ton of examples. I don't know if you want me to go into a couple more of them, but you can also check out. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, sure. It's always good to get examples, and so people can really dive in and start to see how these things work in the wild, basically, Jess, because it's all very easy for us to talk about it, but it's much nicer for people to check things out. So yeah, sure. Absolutely.
So I already mentioned probably the top use case of GoodDollar, which has been selling mobile minutes for GoodDollars. So for example, our ambassador in Ghana will buy bulk data, and then with his GoodDollar wallet, he also leads educational workshops at the university about crypto and GoodDollar, and he'll also sell that data to people that come to the events and accept $GoodDollars for it. So he was like the pilot of this on-ramp to GoodDollar. And since then, it's now expanding to where we're doing a pilot with Fawn Bank. They're like kind of they're a really interesting project based in, I think most of their operations are in Nigeria right now. And they're exploring how DeFi becomes the on-ramp for local market makers, specifically with mobile data. So that's something that we're really excited to share updates on once it's live. And then another exciting use case is actually just happened recently, and we're very proud. It's a very cool moment when you see just how awesome the community is and how they can take a concept like GoodDollar and apply it to their own community. So we have, there's an ambassador in Nigeria who just onboarded a local barber to accept $GoodDollars for haircuts. But now, and haircuts are like $2 a haircut. So the idea being that you can get 50% off your haircut if you're claiming every single day and you get those $GoodDollars, which is, and then you can go to a barber and get a free or discounted haircut, because you're incentivizing the community to like get more and more $GoodDollars and start using them. So that's one barber, but what he's working on now is onboarding 4 other like vendors in the community. So you can get your haircut, but you can also, go to the tailor or get other services.
Well, it's like it's usable value, isn't it? Like you're claiming, and then even if it's only 50% or so, it doesn't matter. It's still giving it utility and a reason to claim. So it makes perfect sense, right? It's a good idea. Very clever. And in those sort of places, I guess, where you've got, as we said, the word unbanked, that's kind of what it is. I don't see it like that either. I see it as people that don't really like banks, and they were waiting to not use banks, and then we just kind of came along with something cool for them to get into. But one of the things I want to touch on, Jess, I think it's important, is how this is delivered to people, the wallet that we need to talk about. So you guys have so you go onto the GoodDollar website, and then there's a little button there that says claim. And then you end up in a place here where you kind of have the ability to get started. And tell us a little bit about this, because look, straight away we're seeing easy login. So it's very simple for people. So tell us a bit more about the kind of, how do people jump into GoodDollar? How easy is it, or how difficult is it?
It's so easy. It's so easy. You just connect with your Google or your Facebook account. You can also just sign up with email or a phone number. The billions of people have Facebook and Google accounts that don't necessarily have bank accounts or ID. So that's step 1 of making it easy. Step 2 is we also need to make sure that it's everyone that's claiming is unique. Otherwise the system is broken. So the second step of that wallet screen will be just a quick like video liveliness test. Like you take a video selfie and we verify that you're human, that you're unique, that you don't have a twin. That's usually the pop-up that comes up that we found your twin.
I've had that one a few times. Like,
you probably just forgot which way you originally signed up with.
No, I had 2 accounts. That's why it happened. I already had one, and then this morning I thought, I can't remember if I had one, so I went and did another one. You have a twin, but that was cool to see that it won't let me. You can't bot this. Like, I think that's an important thing. You can't have 500 accounts and claim 500. Yeah, it doesn't work. You cannot do it, right?
Yeah. So one wallet, one person, one UBI. Simple. That's it. And that's it. You log in every 24 hours. I think the claim starts in 2 hours from now. I think it's like 12 o'clock Central is when you claim. And it's actually important that I say you don't claim the same amount every day. the number changes. And the number changes based on the number of people that claim the day before and the amount the amount in the like UBI distribution contract.
In the
So
pool
in the
allowed.
pool, yeah, exactly, in the pool. So the more people that claim, the more money is released. The less people that claim, the less money is released. So there's like all these double incentives for claiming too.
All right, cool. Thank you, Jessica. That's really, really cool. One last thing I want to kind of get into, and I like to do at the end, is to kind of dive into your personal kind of feelings a little bit. I'm not going to go too deep here, but to get your kind of opinions on the market and like what's happening out there, what you think about the current state of things, adoption of blockchain, Web3, how UBI can fit into this, you know, the kind of stuff that people like you and I talk about every day and people just kind of nod and smile, those kind of topics. You know, I'm genuinely really interested, and so are all the listeners. So Jess, tell us how you see things out there right now and how UBI can kind of fit into this as well a bit better.
Yeah, so in general, I think this bear market drowns speculation from the market, if you will. All we're left with is utility, which is a good thing. But what that means that if your tokens are not useful above and beyond people speculating on their price increase, that just they're just going to be super hurt in this market. And we're seeing a lot of that. For example, if your NFT doesn't have perceived value outside of just the speculative purpose of it, you're going to have a real challenge in maintaining your ecosystem and maintaining your momentum. That's why there's a shift towards, this quote unquote real world utility use cases and real life examples of blockchain. At the same time, we say bear markets are for builders. It's also, I think, washing out the sort of the weaker ecosystems that don't have that utility to survive. Because at the end of the day, like all these blockchain ecosystems need to offer real solutions. And what we've seen is just too many tokens that offer a solution that enables speculation, but unless there's a real usage outside of the financial instrument or outside of the speculation, then you won't use it. So it will suffer. And seeing this, like using a lot of different projects as a baseline, I think this is why for us at GoodDollar, the fact that our numbers haven't gone down and our engagement stays up, from our perspective, it's an indication that, irregardless of the market condition, GoodDollar has utility for its users, because people are continuing day after day to claim and to use their GoodDollars, and not only just use them, but thinking of new ways that no one else has thought of using them, which is really exciting. And then most importantly, the number of transactions is increasing and the number of people that are trying to use GoodDollar, crypto UBI. And there are a lot of projects out there. And they also have like a lot of usage and communities. And what we see with GoodDollar is that people are trying to use it as a type of community currency to do more peer-to-peer commerce. And this in it of itself shows that there's like a real world application, at least for our token ecosystem. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I mean, I think in terms of UBI, it's a growing movement, and I'm really excited for in a few years when all of these things emerge, because I still think it's early days for crypto UBI on like a really massive scale, but I'm excited. And then I also just think it's also an exciting time for the impact industry. I think what we've seen, with the fundraising for the war in Ukraine, for victims of floods and earthquakes, like crypto has been a fundamental asset class for shifting resources to people in places that are in crisis. And I think in this bear market, in this recession, we're only going to see more and more impact-focused organizations looking to alternative fundraising, looking for ways to support their communities. And I'm so excited to talk with all of them.
No, the time feel the time, like, as I said right at the beginning,
Oh,
the timing of everything is
yeah.
really great now, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And just the other side of that coin, to think about the beneficiaries of these impact organizations who are already using cryptocurrency, but not because they're speculating on a monkey JPEG NFT. It's because that's actually some of the way that they put food on the table for the next day.
Yeah.
In places like Afghanistan or, well, now El Salvador. So these worlds, I think, are going to collide very, very soon. And I'm really looking forward to the impact at scale that we can hopefully unleash with all this Web3 technology.
It's when it starts to collide, isn't it? And I couldn't agree with what you're saying more. Like, I think that the timing is really great. And obviously that's what Fuse is also about. It's this real world application for crypto. It's this, and you mentioned their NFTs a few times and monkey faces. And I say the same things often, but admittedly, I'm going to say that those are stepping stones on the way to a bigger system. And when I jumped into crypto like 6 years ago, I was fascinated with UBI and real world, tokenization of real world buildings and shared asset ownership. And these are the things that really excited me. But it did feel like the industry got a little bit sidetracked over the last few years with yield farming and NFTs. But these are necessary things in order to get us to where we need to be, right? If we want to advance this whole system, we have to go through these little steps, right? The first websites in the 90s were pretty bad. Things got better as we went forward and things became smoother and nicer, and we have to learn from our mistakes, right? So it's just evolution, I think. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm kind of really on the same team, I guess. But yeah, super excited to see how UBI rolls out. And actually, one of the things I'm really excited about to see is when human beings have the potential to possibly free themselves from mundane work, what will they do with their newfound time? Will they educate themselves? I pray to God the answer to that is yes, but that's the theory I keep reading, that human beings will become, they'll have a thirst for knowledge if they have more time. And as a result of that, the whole planet can lift itself out of its current situation. So pretty exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, just
you're
live
sharp.
a happier life. Do the work that you want to do. Do the work that is meaningful for you, so that you can lead a life with dignity. And I think that's what universal basic income is really all about, is like living the life that you want to live.
The life, I liked how you put that, having with dignity. I like that. I think that's a really good description there, Jess, definitely. All right, so thank you so much. I think we're kind of wrapping up, getting to the end of the show, and I really want to thank you for kind of outlining what GoodDollar is, how it works, what it's about, and then obviously how people can connect. All the links that you're seeing moving around here at the bottom, they'll all be in the description, so you can go and connect there as well. But the last thing, Jess, is where's the best place for people to reach GoodDollar? Where are the links? Let's have those social shout outs so people can connect with you.
Yeah, so please follow GoodDollar on Twitter. That's the best place for the latest news. We also have a Telegram announcement channel and a Telegram channel for mostly for support. It's actually it's at GoodDollar X on Telegram. If you have any issues with GoodDollar signing up, anything, there will always be someone in that community that will help you with your questions. Awesome. And connect. We also host some live community events, Twitter Spaces, where we talk to other people about Web3 and impact and hear from stories around the world. So if you want to hear and see more about GoodDollar, the best way is to just jump right into the community.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool. So yeah, reach out to these guys on Twitter. You can get all the information there, and they're always ready to answer questions, as Jessica just said. So that is all the time we've got for today. A big thank you to my guests for spending time with us and letting everyone know about GoodDollar, its plans. I think they're doing a really outstanding job of. It's very unique what GoodDollar's up to, and it's always been of interest to me. I've been watching you guys since you launched, so you're not a stranger to me, and I'm excited to see where things go in the future as well. And I think the idea of universal basic income is a really strong one. And I think it's, as we've said a couple of times, it's been around for a long time, but now we're in this feels like there's a perfect meeting of technology with the will to want to deliver this as well. So I think it can be a very interesting 2023 for you guys as well, and the rest of the year. So thank you, Jess. I really appreciate that. Anything you want to say right at the end? Maybe just say thank you to the listeners and watchers.
Thank you for having me and letting me share more about GoodDollar. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. I really think it's an incredible project, and I look forward to connecting with anyone that is interested in just talking about UBI, talking about crypto and all the good things that it can do, because it's great to connect with people that are of that same brainwave wavelength.
Yeah, it's nice, right? You can have nice conversations, and that's one of the reasons we do these kind of shows, because it's very easy to click on the websites that we looked at and see that data points and see other graphs and charts, and yeah, that's all great, but what about the people who actually run the company, and what's their ethics all about? Who are they? So people got a real good taste of that today, Jessica. So thank you very much. So thanks everyone again. Those looking to learn more about GoodDollar and how to get involved, all the links will be in the video description at the bottom there, and you can check out their website, and all the links to Fuse will be there too. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great week ahead and take care of yourselves. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you.